Alright guys, so if you didn't already see the first tutorial, it was going over how to do the line drawing, how to grid your image, basically those essentials that get you set up for this next step. You should watch those first, but this step is going to be following that video. So once you have your drawing drawn, like you have your image transferred, everything is the way you want it to be, the next part is actually breaking up that drawing. Okay, so I have my cicada here. It's drawn to the liking, to the completeness that I wanted it to be. So the next step is actually going to be erasing away all of these grid lines. Okay, so it's important that you get rid of those. Those were only there as placeholders so that we could accurately draw our image onto this larger sheet of paper. Okay, but we don't need them now. So go ahead and erase those away. I'm not going to do it all in this video. It's going to take me forever. But essentially what I wanted to show you guys is how to start breaking up this image. So there's several ways that you can do it. Okay, you can do it using hard angled geometric lines. Okay, or you could do it using lines that are more contoured and organic. Okay, doesn't really matter how you choose to do it. You can do a combination of both. So you can have hard geometric lines going through these contoured, curvy lines. There's examples that I'm going to post into Schoology so you can take a look if you want to. But the main thing that I want you guys to take away from this video is that no matter how you plan on breaking up this image, you need to take into account the negative space that's surrounding your subject. Okay? So I know I haven't talked about space yet. Maybe I went over it briefly last Thursday, but essentially this image right here is the positive image. Okay, this is an object, it's in space, it's occupying space on my page. Everything around it is considered the negative space. All right, let's ignore the grid for a while, but all this negative space I want to start breaking up using those lines. So if I go into here with my ruler, okay, essentially what I'll start doing is trying to break up this space. Doesn't matter how you do it. You don't have to do straight lines. I'm just doing this as an example. There's no harder or easier way to do this. I'm just going to start throwing lines in like this. Okay, treating that negative space. And it's okay if these lines actually go over top your image, because that's the whole premise of this part. Once these lines start crossing over areas where the subject is, it's going to start making these smaller shapes within the larger outline of the subject that you have. So I'll do a few more. I'll do like a curved line over here, coming through like that. There's no, I'm just doing this randomly. Okay, so there's no right or wrong way to do this. I'll do another one coming through like this. One thing to remember is you don't want to have a lot of areas of just negative space, because it's just going to be a flat area of color or a value later on. So I think this is sufficiently broken up. Maybe I'll do another one just like this. All right. So the next thing that you would do once you have your lines drawn in, kind of outline the shape of your subject so that you know exactly where it is. It's a little confusing once you have a bunch of lines going around. But essentially when we draw these lines, so I have two lines coming through right here, right? And they're intersecting this image of my cicada. These lines are creating a shape within the lines that are already part of my subject. So this part of the wing is intersecting with these two lines and making this shape. We're going to start treating every single one of these shapes like it's its own entity, okay? And we're going to add value to each of these, all right? So you can look at your image and take the value into consideration for the image that you have. So in this image on here, this part of it is actually fairly dark. So this is corresponding to this right here. It's a little bit dark. You can take that into account, but you don't have to. So just start from an area, start going in. I'm starting dark here. I'm going to lighten up as it comes towards the top. Okay? But I've basically just given this shape a value, all right? kind of turning them into forms. Okay? This is more an exercise in pencil control and getting gradients, really good transitions from dark to light, than it is making something super accurate or trying to make it look a certain way. Okay? But another thing that you can do with this project is you can use your blending stump once you have some value put down, and you can get some practice with that by starting to blend in this graphite and making it nice and smooth. Okay? In your own projects, it's really easy to cover a shape or an area with graphite to create value. Okay? But we want it to be smooth value. We want smooth transitions. Remember that term gradient? It's a smooth transition from dark to light or from color to color. So let's keep that in mind while we do this. Okay? But essentially every single shape created by these broken lines that we're adding in on top of what you have for your subject itself, they're going to create the areas that we add value to. Okay, so I'm kind of lightening that up, maybe adding a little highlight right here, I don't know. Okay, but when we're done with that one, we'll go into the next shape. So I see a shape right here. The corner of the wing is going down. It's intersected. This is a grid line. I didn't erase these, but in your own, you should probably erase them before you get started. But you're going to have to start treating these little areas, okay? But everything needs to have some kind of gradation of value. So I'll start with the dark area right here, get a little bit lighter, go in with the blending stump, and pull that over, okay? And if you have a smaller eraser, you could go in and actually really push out the highlights and the shadows, okay? But the higher the contrast that you have between dark and light in each of these shapes, remember contrast is the difference between dark and light values, the more interesting and appealing that your composition is going to be. So try not to leave areas that are really massive, like massive areas of value. Like down here, I know the grid lines are in this part, so I'm going to get rid of these. But what I'm trying to show you is there's like a big shape down here created by the negative space and the lines that I put. So I might go in again and break this up even further, just so I have some smaller shapes to work with. Okay. So now I got this shape right here. I got this one. I have this one, this one. So I can just go in and start applying that same procedure. I'll start with the dark area, or whichever portion of this I want to be dark. Fill that in. And I'm going to have it transition this way to a light value. All right. Sometimes it helps, like if this is going to transition to light, maybe I'll start with the dark value here, so that contrast creates, some kind of visual interest down in this portion. Okay. But almost think about it like making a checkerboard. You're going to make black marks and white marks. Reference the images that I have in Schoology. Use your blending stump. If you don't have a blending stump at your table, which you all should, ask me. I have a ton of them. I'm trying to get rid of them. So have fun with this part. This is the last step of the Broken Value project. Okay? If you have questions, ask me in class. If not, email me. I'm here for y'all. Let me know.